Hello, good morning everyone. Today our discussion is Other Percentage Tax, Module 10 of Thinktank Law. So let's start. So what is Other Percentage Tax? So usually this nature of taxation falls on business taxes and mostly documented through Form 1600 of BAR. So what are the different sections under percentage tax? So we have 12 different sections. So we'll start at section 116 up to section 127B. So section 116 is more on nature of payment, gross sales, or receipt. Meaning to say, all that are not under VAT are rated at 3%. So it is called as a percentage tax. Okay? So section 117, nature of payment, is more on common carrier tax. So the rate is 3%. So it falls mostly on tax base is actual quarterly gross receipt or minimum quarterly gross receipt provided by law. So it's more on jeepney for hire in Manila. So those not exceeding 21,900 falls on 3% tax. But if it's exceeding, then it will falls on the value added tax. Provincial, 10,967 monthly for the provincial jeepney for hire. For the public utility bus, so those not exceeding 30 passengers, so the amount is not exceeding 32,857, and then not exceeding 50 passengers, the amount is 54,733, and exceeding 50 passengers, it's more on 66,700 monthly. So it depends upon the number of passengers. For the taxi cab, Manila and other cities, we have 32,867 as the basis for 3% tax, but if ever it's exceed, then it falls on the value added tax. Provincial taxi cab is 21,900 monthly. For the car for hire with chauffeur, it's 27,367 falls on the 3% tax, and 16,434 monthly falls on 3% tax for the car for hire only. Under Section 118, it falls on international shipping carrier. So, it's 3%. So, those are business or those are shipping carrier that doing business here in the Philippines. For the Section 119, it falls on the franchises. So, either they pay a percentage tax of 3%, 2%, or value-added tax. So, here's the trivia here. If the business is already exceeding to 10 million gross receipt, then you are going to pay value-added tax. That's it. Okay? For the small businesses like radio or TV broadcasting companies, as long that they are not earning 10 million, then they are going to pay 3% percentage tax. Okay? For the gas and water utilities, so they are only paying 2% as long as their receipt is not exceeding 10 million pesos. So, good example here is if the business is 3 major gas company, then definitely they are entitled to a value-added tax, not 2%. But if the business is a small gas business, then definitely they are going to pay a 2% tax. Okay? For the Section 120, it's more on the overseas dispatch. The rate is 10%. So, tax base is message or conversation transmitted from the Philippines through telephone, telegraph, telewriter exchange, wireless, and other communication equipment services. Okay? For Section 121 to Section 122, nature of payment is more on tax on finance company. So, rate is 5%, 3,100%, 0%, and 5%. Okay? For the first is for the 5%, it's more on gross receipt delivered by all financing companies. So, if it is delivered by all financing companies, then definitely tax base is 5%. For the 3,100, on interest, commission, and discount received arising out of lending companies as well as financing leasing on the basis of the remaining maturities of the instrument If it is a short-term maturity only, for example, the interest is matured not exceeding 2 years, then you are going to pay 3% interest. Okay? For the medium term, wherein your interest is exceeding from 2 years and not exceeding 4 years, then you are going to pay 1% interest tax. For the long term, over 4 but not over 7 years, you are going to pay 0%. And if it is over 7 years, then definitely it's 0% interest tax. Okay? Then next is the 0% for the dividends. Dividends means the one that received by the stockholders, because corporate business is already deducted through corporate income tax. Then definitely if they are going to share to stockholders, then they are not going to pay any tax for their dividends. So it's 0%. For the 5%, it's more on royalties. So when you are renting rentals of property, real or personal profits from exchange and all other gross income, so it's 5%. For section 123, the nature of payment is more on life insurance company. So the rate here is 5%. Tax base is on the total premiums collected or gross receipt, whether in money, notes, credits, or any substitute for money. So except if you receive the premium refunded within 6 months after payments on account of rejection of risk or return for other reason to a person insured. So you are not going to pay any 5% life insurance tax. Reinsurance premium paid by a company that has already paid a tax. So it's double tax, so definitely it's 0%. If the premium is collected or received by any branch of a domestic corporation, firm, or association doing business outside the Philippines, then definitely they are not going to deduct any tax for it. The insurance premium, if the insured of personal insurance reside outside the Philippines. If it's outside the Philippines, then it's 0%. Portion of the premium collected or received by insurance company on variable contracts in excess of the amount necessary to insure the lives of variable contract owners. So it's 0%. Next is section 124. Section 124 is more on tax agents of foreign insurance companies. So here the tax is 10%. So tax base on premiums collected legally authorized under the insurance code to procure policies of insurance on risk located in the Philippines for companies not authorized to transact business in the Philippines except on reinsurance. So the rate here is 10%. Okay, next is the section 125. Nature of payment is amusement tax. Rate is 18, 10, 15, and 30%. Tax base. So letter A is for the cockpits. So it's 18%. It is a fight between two roosters, and you watch it on national television, then they are going to pay 18% for this one. Letter B is cabaret, karaoke club, nightclub, or day club. You are going to pay 18% of it because it is part of amusement tax. Letter C is professional basketball games worldwide championship, where at least one of the contender is a Filipino and promoted by a Filipino or by a corporation or association of which 60% of the Filipino capital is Filipino owned. So it's 10%. Letter D is a professional basketball game. So example here is PBA. For the high alay, it is a gambling and racetrack. They are going to pay 30% daily as part of their amusement tax. For section 126, it's more on taxes on winnings. So the rate is 10.4 and 10%. 10.4 falls on the winning tickets, and 10% falls on the payment of the owner of racing horses. Okay? So for the winning tickets, once you win once, you are going to pay 10%. But once you win twice, triple or 4 times, then you are going to pay 4% only. For the owners or racing horses, you are going to pay 10% for the 1-day game. For Section 127A, nature of payment is sales, barter, exchange, broker, or share of stock. So, rate here is 421. 421 for the listed and traded through local stock exchange and 1/2 of 1% for the IPO or stocks after the listing in the local stock exchange. Okay? So, here for letter A, if the stock is listed and traded through local stock exchange and you buy at least a percentage of up to 25% of stocks, then you are going to pay 4%. If you buy not over 33 and 1/3% stocks, then you are going to pay 2% tax. If the stock is paid over 33 and 1/3%, then your tax is only 1% out of the total stocks that you buy. For the letter B, if after there is a listed and traded in the local stock exchange and still there is an IPO or in a closely held corporation and you buy it, so the total outstanding share of stock after the listing in the local stock exchange is only 1/2 of 1%. Okay? For Section 127B, we have the nature of payment is on brokers. So, the rate of tax of brokers is 7%. So, tax base is when the service is rendered by stock, being a broker in a real estate, being a broker in commercial, customer, and immigration broker. So, those broker are paying 7% tax to the BIR. Okay, so let's start to test your memory. On its tax basis, so I will give a sample and then you try to answer the percentage. So, on winning horse or race, so here we are going to have 10% and 4%. So, it's fall on the ticket. Payment for broker, 7%. On the premium collected on life insurance companies, so this one is 5%. On the professional basketball games in the Philippines, so it's 15%. On the franchise of airtime of Wawawin, so if it is not more than 10 million, then this one is only 3%. For the business tax of non-VAT taxpayer, then the payment of your tax is 3%. For the payment on royalties, this one is 7%. Okay, next. So, let's start to test our memory again. So, in its payment to BIR on a monthly basis. So, number 1 is taxi operator earns 30,000 a month, each with 3 caps. So, how to compute this one? We need to compute 30,000 times 3 times how many percent? 3%. So, the answer is 2,700 monthly. Number 2 example is franchise of Total. This one is a business worth 5 million. So, Total is a gas station or a gas business. So, here we are only going to pay 5 million times 2% is equals to 100,000. Number 3 sample is franchise of Jollibee. So, Jollibee is big business. So, income is more than 10 million. So, it's already 100 million. So, what you need to do is to pay for the value-added tax. So, here, we're going to get the 100 million divided by 112 times 12 in order to get the value-added tax. Worth 10,714,285.71. Example number 4 is listing and trade, 25% is 4%. So, 100,000 or 100 million times 4%. So we need to pay 4 million. Next example is an international shipping carrier landed in the Philippines. Its passengers earns 800,000 for this trip. So how much is the tax? So for the international shipping carrier that landed in the Philippines, we are only going to pay 800,000 times 3%. So we are only going to pay 24,000. For the racetrack, Santa Ana Racetrack in Santa Rosa, Laguna earns 20,000 daily. So racetrack is how many percent? This one is 30% tax, right? So we have 20,000 times 30 days times 30%. So we are going to pay 180,000. For the overseas dispatch, OFW Overseas Communication Dispatch in SM Dasmariñas earns 100,000 daily. So this Overseas Communication Dispatch is located in SM Dasmariñas City. So what we are going to do is to compute the 100,000 multiplied by 30 days times the 10% tax or the communication dispatch tax. So the payment is 300,000. So this is the end of our module 10 on other percentage tax. So I hope you understand the lesson. See you and good luck.